Paul Finebaum taking shots at Colorado football, at Deion, at Shador. He kind of comes at him here. Take a listen, and then we can react.
On that for a second. Anyone asking whether Deion Sanders and Colorado are close to the playoffs simply doesn't understand the reality of the road. They're not going to the playoffs this year, and I'm not sure Deion Sanders is ever going to get them to the playoffs because I don't think he has the patience to stay at Colorado long enough. There's so many misconceptions out there. Deion Sanders is the best salesman I've ever seen. I personally love the guy and for what he stands for, but the program looking out has a ridiculously inflated view of itself. I heard Shador Sanders, who's a fabulous quarterback, say last week, "We are everyone's Super Bowl." Shador, you are not. You are an easy win nowadays.
Number one, Finebaum is, obviously a respected journalist in this game, and he's very SEC biased, obviously. He's not wrong that we've been bad for a long time. That's true. But he is wrong, and he's looking at this team and the logo and seeing the past. Because like I said yesterday, I think this team is absolutely loaded, especially at the skill positions. The line's got a lot better. And when you have an elite quarterback and you put pieces around him, a year two is a huge jump for Coach Prime. So that's number two. I think they're going to be a really good team, and I do think they'll fight for a playoff spot, especially in a 12-team playoff. Right. So I think he's wrong on that. To say that they're irrelevant in college football is disrespectful as shit. Come on. Yes, the team has been down for 2 decades, but they're not irrelevant, and the history at that place is deep. And now Coach Prime is adding his magic into it. And to be honest with you, it seems it's very short-sighted what he's saying. He doesn't see culturally how it's affected, and from a pop culture standpoint, all over TV, all over social media, totally changing the way that you look at development and recruitment and the transfer portal. He's using the transfer portal to his advantage, bringing in players that he wants. I think that this is a short-sighted view by Finebaum. He's not taking into consideration, how few black coaches there have been at the college football level, at Division I level, True. And how much Deion is not only changing, the way things are done in Boulder, but he's changing the way things are done all over the country. People are trying to match the way he recruits, the way he develops, the way that they go after players, trying to figure out how he has such great camaraderie with guys and they don't, So I think Finebaum's, he's wrong. He's dead wrong. I mean, look, if you just look at records, he's got a point, but that's all he's doing. He's looking at the entire, the entire focus here around the University of Colorado and Coach Prime and Shador and Travis Hunter. I truly believe they're going to have 2 Heisman Trophy candidates next year. That's not irrelevant. So, the NCAA just came out last night, and I played it for hours last night. It was dope. It's a great game. I'm going to start live feeding and on Twitch and stuff and playing games and whatnot. But, when you're looking at that game, that somebody seems to think they're going to be pretty good because they are like an 88 or an 89 on the game, and Shador's the best quarterback, and Travis Hunter's a dog, and it's just I'm looking at this and going, okay, everything I thought was going to happen kind of did. The ridiculous offseason is over, and that's for everyone. It's just everybody can focus on football now, thank God. And I truly believe that he's Coach or Finebaum and everybody else that's on this side of the fence is not taking into consideration the fact that this is the last time everybody's going to play together too. So from an emotional standpoint, I think that that's going to drive them as well. So I think he's wrong. To say that they're irrelevant in college football and there's no way they can make the playoff, that's just fuel. If I'm in Boulder right now, I'm playing it to the team first thing. It's the first thing I want everybody to hear and see because this is how they think about you. And, this is an opportunity to go out and tell Finebaum to stick it where the sun don't shine. So I know damn well that Coach Prime is going to hear this if he hasn't already, and he will use it to his advantage. This is major fuel for that fire right there.
Yeah, no doubt. And one thing he said, she's like, Shador, you're not everybody's Super Bowl. Colorado isn't everybody's Super Bowl. I tend to disagree with that statement. I think that when no matter who wins the game, that game is going to have people watching. And to certain schools, that they'll face this season on their schedule, I think they'll have that game circled saying, hey, look, there's a lot of hype around Colorado, and these other teams will look at it and take it seriously. I don't think they're going to sit here and say, hey, they're 4-8 last year, and they're just gonna look over. I think they're gonna do the opposite. I think if anything, they're gonna take them way more serious. And I think that Paul Finebaum is wrong about saying that.
Yeah, and look, that's the other thing is you're just sparking the fire under an elite quarterback.
Right.
And now he's got an offensive line in front of him that can actually do the job.
Mm-hmm.
So look, if this is the road that everybody wants to take, and they haven't done it yet until they prove it, I've been on that side of the fence a little bit to a point where I need to see it now. They lost 6 games last year by 1 score. That flips this year. I think it flips because you're no longer just relying on the elite players on the field. Now they can rely on the other guys on the field instead of doing everything. Mm-hmm. So I think they'll improve by a yard a carry on the offensive line, which is going to be huge. Yeah. That'll allow them to run the ball more, which will allow more open shots down the field to elite playmakers. It's still going to, like I said yesterday, the defensive line is going to be the key. If they can stop the run and they can control, some teams in that regard that are going to come in and try and limit possessions for CU by running the ball and keeping Shedeur and Travis and, Horn and all these freaks off the field. Okay, well, that sounds like that's the way you should beat them, but I think CU learned so much last year. Coach Prime learned a ton in his first year as a Power 5, Power 4, whatever you want to say, college head coach. Shedeur learned a ton as the first time as a starter at this level. Travis learned a ton. Everybody learned, and there's no losers in Boulder, but they are learning. And I say this all the time. If you're losing, there's nothing I can do for you. If you're a loser, you're going to look at the ground. But if you're learning when you lose, you are dangerous. You're dangerous because the next time you see it, you're going to beat it. So, look, man, Finebaum, everybody talking all that junk, receipts, baby. Receipts. Keep them and log them and make sure that when it comes up, that, everybody understands that we heard you. Look. I like Shedeur saying that we're everybody's Super Bowl. North Dakota State, they're going to want to shock the world. Nebraska, come on, dog. We talked about this yesterday. Mm-hmm. CSU, damn well that's their Super Bowl. They win that game. They could lose every other game the rest of the year. They beat CU at home on national TV after last year's unbelievable game in Boulder and overtime and all the drama. Mm-hmm. It's 100% their Super Bowl. Jay Norvell probably get a raise. So, and then everybody in the Big 12, they're at Baylor, everyone. Coach Prime, he's a Cowboy. He ran Texas. He lives there. He going to UCF. He runs Florida. That's his state. So everybody's got a reason to go after CU a little bit harder. Kansas State, revitalizing that rivalry. Kansas revitalizing that rivalry. The hatred of Utah, Oklahoma State, they're rivalous at the end of the season. So, and we didn't even talk about Texas Tech and some of the other schools. So everybody's got a reason to go out and play just a little bit harder against the Buffs. So, again, Finebaum, wrong. It sounds like Paul doesn't know what he's talking about, which is what we get with a lot of Colorado fans. A lot of people who say they support. They look from the outside, they like what they see, and they jump on the bandwagon, and then they're uneducated in their arguments. So, Finebaum, he sounds uneducated in his argument here, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's saying how special Shedeur is and how much he likes Prime, but they're not going to be able to get the job done and they're a fraud. And that come on, dog, which one is it?
Sorry, I'm fucking muted. The one thing, yeah, I totally agree with you. He does. I think he has an SEC bias, honestly. I think that, especially with Pac-12,
he's an SEC show, bro.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think he ain't going to give Colorado the respect considering they came from the Pac-12. I think that's the biggest thing with Finebaum. And, I think that kind of nulls his take in the way. It makes it not valid.